From the Keith Vincent Kaola Studios in Paterson, New Jersey, Green Arrow Media proudly presents Is This Real? Tonight, the curse of the Bambino. Was it real? We'll find out. And now your host, JC3. Welcome, everybody, to another fantastic episode of Is This Real?
Is this real?
Tonight's episode, as Dad said, we are talking about the curse of the Bambino. And if you don't know who the Bambino is, that is Baby Ruth himself. We are talking about the curse of Babe Ruth on the Boston Red Sox. Good. Fuck him.
Well, shit, that escalated very quickly.
No,
All right.
There was some anger in that. Oh my God.
I am not a Boston fan. I am a proud New Yorker, and I'm not a New Yorker. I'm from New Jersey, but I'm a proud New York fan. But in the booth tonight, as you heard, Dad say hello.
His teams never win, folks, but that's neither here nor there.
Fuck you.
It's been another abysmal fucking year.
And
They
who?
went down in thundering silence today.
Who
Got
are
lost
you?
to the
Say
Dolphins.
hello to everybody.
Got lost at the Dolphins.
Hello, everybody, and how are you? And welcome to my sorrow.
All right, so we're gonna go a little bit different because equipment tech is fucking up. We have Cito right next to Dad and one camera.
Oh, Cito's here.
Cito is
back.
here. Cito's back for the Curse of Bambino. Mr. West.
Mr. West is in the building.
Yes, the Muay Thai man himself.
No. Yeah.
We have the Pope himself. The Pope is here.
I'm the Pope.
The Pope is here. And I'm JC3. So I'm going to go around and I'm just going to ask everybody just a little bit about what they know, just from things that they've heard about what you know about the Curse of the Bambino. I mean, Dad, I know you know what it is. So I'm mostly actually going to Cito and Eric and Anthony.
Who'd you call me?
Mr. West.
Wow.
Cito, what do you know about the Curse of the Bambino?
All I know is that he was traded, and they would regret it.
Yes. Okay. Mr. West?
I am just hearing about this tonight.
Do you live under a rock, Mr.
I
West?
do.
I was with him, to be honest.
Oh, my God. Anthony?
I know that Babe Ruth was a black man.
No!
Actually, that's a very big conspiracy. Like,
Wait, what?
I'm not joking. We'll talk about this later on the show. But what I know about the Curse of the Bambino is he was traded in 1918. He went from the Red Sox over to the Yankees. And then for the next 86 years,
Almost 100 years.
almost 100 years, the Red Sox couldn't get out of their way. I think they had the longest active dry spell without a championship in sports history. But the Jets are a close second.
Jesus Christ, where are we? This is nothing to do about the Jets. Can we not talk about the Jets?
No, we're going to talk about the Jets. We're going to talk about fucking curses and that fucking drunk bastard Joe Namath, too. Okay, go ahead.
No, we're not. Okay. So, Dad.
Oh, my.
Patreon hours.
Dad.
Go ahead.
Because you were alive when the curse happened.
I got a collector go fuck yourselves for all five of you. Go ahead.
All right.
There's only four of us in the booth
No,
with you.
Well, whatever.
Telling yourself to go fuck yourself?
Why not?
The
What
fifth one goes to Josh. He's not here, but fuck you.
What do you remember as far as growing up and hearing about this curse and stuff like that?
Just what you just said. That he was he was pissed off that he was traded from the Boston Red Sox to the Yankees, and he told them, he says, "You guys are never going to win another championship as long as I'm alive." And was that did he have the power to put a curse on somebody? I don't know. It seems to be, because they didn't do anything till what, 2012.
No, 2004.
I have a
2004,
question.
What is your question, West?
Where did this curse originate from? Like, who came up with this
Yeah,
idea?
that's a good question.
That is a good question. I'll start off. I'll tell you the backstory. So, on December 26, 1919, which at 2022 was 103 years ago, the Boston Red Sox made the controversial and regrettable decision to sell Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees. Babe Ruth was called the Bambino. That was his nickname. And they sold him to the New York Yankees. It wasn't a trade. They sold him.
We're talking about baseball, folks.
Yes, we're talking about baseball.
Just backs up my idea that he was a black man.
Shut up.
And the white man sold him.
Shut up.
Oh my God.
Prior to that point, the Boston Red Sox won 5 of the first 15 World Series titles in Major League Baseball history. So they had 1/3 of the titles when the World Series started. So 1/3. With Ruth being a member of 3 of those championship teams. He was a pitcher and a really good slugger. Ruth was the winning pitcher of 2 of the 6 games in the 1918 World Series, giving him the confidence to report late to spring training camp that following season and demanded a big payday from the Red Sox owner Harry Frazee. After Ruth negotiated a 3-year, $27,000 contract.
Wow.
That's a lot of money in 1918.
How much?
$27,000 for 3 years.
In 1918.
In 1918.
That's probably the equivalent to a few million back then.
Probably about $20 million.
Well, it's like $9,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
They get that in meal money in a month.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you right now. Hold up.
Okay.
Inflation of $27,000 from 1918
Yes, 1918.
to 2020. Well,
2022.
2022. That is worth $550,000
That's it?
in 2022. That's it. That's it. That's enough to pay my student loans 5 times over. That's it.
No, I understand that, but you would
Like-
think to today's money that,
But
especially for a player like Babe Ruth.
No, but think about it though. That's back. Think about it. That's when the dollar actually meant something. When it was backed by gold. When it,
And also-
gas was only like 3 cents a gallon. Or
Let's-
something.
We didn't have airplanes yet. Like this is talking about 103 years ago.
Let's just put it like this. Also, this is also before like Babe Ruth was a big name, but when he got to the Yankees,
Well, you're in New York. You're going to
went
be a bigger name.
to
But I
the
got a question
stratosphere.
about Babe Ruth. Maybe you guys can help me here. Now, I understand, he was, a great ball player, whatever. Let's put it in perspective. There was nobody else at the time doing what he was doing.
Well,
Okay.
pitching and hitting.
And hitting,
No,
okay?
there's a lot of people that during that time. That were
Yeah,
doing
but
that.
not hitting like he was hitting. Now, that would
He
be...
like I said, like I just said though, he wasn't. Like they said a sometime slugger from during Babe Ruth's Red Sox period, he wasn't as he was a better pitcher than he was a hitter.
Okay.
As far as when he got
But
to
was
the
he
Yankees,
really that good?
well, when you win 2 out of the 6 games in the World Series, and that's when they pitched like 9 innings and then went to go drink a beer and then pitch another 9 innings at that night. You know
Well,
what I mean?
I could be honest with you. My uncle used to hang out with Babe Ruth at least 3 or 4 times that I know of.
Excuse me?
My uncle hung out with Babe Ruth after he would play in Yankee Stadium. He came down to Patterson. There was a bar right by Hinchcliffe Stadium, and my uncle would go there, and they'd all hang out together. My uncle had pictures. I gotta find out if he
Which
still has them.
Felix?
Felix.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm about to say, I'm like, Uncle Pat's a little young for that.
No. And he.
Felix makes more sense.
Well, Felix was born in 1907, so I
Right.
mean, But anyway, he.
Your great Uncle Felix.
I didn't believe him either, but there he was. I mean, he literally photos with Babe Ruth, and I'm like, sure this wasn't a convention? He goes, what the fuck's a convention? They didn't have conventions then, And he said Babe Ruth drank like a fish.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
he did.
He smoked cigars and
Yep.
cigarettes and everything else.
What you know as a sports athlete today, back in 1900s, that completely different people.
Yeah, seriously. Like, they
They
didn't give a
drank
shit.
in the dugout. They smoked in the dugout.
They went
know?
to they were just like, oh yeah, we're going to the bar after the game because back then they weren't treated like. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, they were celebrities.
The
to
bar
a degree.
was the game.
Right, yeah, but like they
You know,
were.
they banged chicks in the dugout. All stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, baseball was a lot more interesting.
All right. So in that year,
That's
that's
why
in
y'all
19
That's why y'all like this sport so much.
in 1918 when he negotiated his 3-year, $27,000 deal, the Red Sox went on to finish 6th in the American League that season, and then he wanted to renegotiate his deal after that year, and he wanted double of what he was making. So he wanted $54,000 a year.
Which would be the equivalent to $1 million.
Probably. I mean, if you're
Yeah, that's
doubling
about
that.
right.
Frazee, the owner, a theatrical producer and director who had suspiciously come to Boston from New York City, was already in debt from his 1916 purchase of the team and was in need of cash to finance a play called... Does anybody... Well, you guys probably... Yeah, do you know? Besides reading it?
No, I don't.
Wait.
He was going to finance a play.
He was gonna find the Phantom of the Opera.
No. Dad?
No.
My Lady Friends. Nobody... If you ask a Boston Red Sox fan, they know that by heart because they want... Like, every time they go past this guy's grave, they, like, spit on it.
Fuck him.
Well,
I
yikes.
have no.
So
I,
he
look,
wanted-
I have no love lost for any Boston fan.
So
I'm sorry.
he wanted to finance a play called My Lady Friends, which would go on to become the successful Broadway hit No No Nanette.
But
Okay,
Net?
no, that was big, yeah.
Yeah.
He no Nanette. Facing those
Wait, I'm
financial.
sorry. I don't know anything about theater. What is it? What does that mean? Like,
No,
No,
Nanette was a
no,
Broadway play.
yeah,
that
it was a
became
Play. It was a play in the early
a musical.
1900s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so-
Facing.
but wait, it was in Boston.
No, it was a.
No, it opened in Broadway in 1919, but he
On
wanted
Broadway-
to finance it.
When we say it's opening on Broadway, we mean like New York.
New York Broadway.
Yeah, there's no other type of. Oh, there's a play opening, and they
Like I
say
had that idea, but like
maybe
Wasn't fully
L.A.
aware.
would be the closest, but I think that might be L.A. now, not L.A. then.
The closest equivalent would be Broadway. I'm sorry, would be West End in London.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, just leave him over there. So when we say now he was Frazee was a New York, already a New York theater producer, and when he bought the team, so he's trying to get another play, which again becomes a very successful play, or musical. It's a musical, right?
Mm-hmm.
Financed. Facing those financial pressures, Frazee agreed to sell the rights of Babe Ruth to the Yankees, who at the
Damn.
time never appeared in a World Series.
Yeah, I don't know.
you know how much
your
he-
conspiracy might be true.
Do you know how much he got for
God.
Babe Ruth from the
How,
Yankees?
wait.
No, I do not.
How much did he get? What year is this?
1918.
1919. This is 1919.
So he bought out Babe Ruth's.
Well, the Yankees bought Babe Ruth from the Red Sox.
And how much did they pay? Okay.
I'm asking. Do you guys? Does anybody know?
$75,000.
Close, but no cigar. What'd you say?
$100,000.
$100,000. A staggering for that time. $100,000 they bought Babe Ruth for, and he wanted his.
Damn, that's like the equivalent to like
Almost
$8
tripled,
million.
almost quadrupled his contract
Yep.
that they paid for him.
Yep. And he
So-
told him to get fucked.
While the Yankees went on to win 4 World Series with Babe Ruth,
Nice.
now fully converted into a power-hitting position player. So he converted from a fantastic pitcher.
Yeah, because I've heard that Babe Ruth was like a slugger. Like he would just blast them out of Yankee Stadium, like legitimately, like blast them out of Yankee Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He was but when he was with the Red Sox, he was a prolific pitcher. And
So
this
he
was
was-
in his younger days.
Wasn't
Like,
he fat too?
he was a huskier type.
Okay.
I just put like I'm fat.
The
Babe
boy
Ruth,
thick.
Babe Ruth is not me. You know what I mean? Like Babe Ruth was a thicker boy, thick with two C's. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Okay.
Big boy.
When he got to the Yankees, he
The brother was a light skin.
yeah. So basically, he turned around and he
Was
won.
he on steroids or no? Was steroids a thing back then? or
Steroids
no?
was not a thing back
No,
then.
the only thing he was on was steak and cigars.
And alcohol.
All right, Ron Swanson.
So he gets sold to the Yankees for $100,000 in 1920, which what would be like a $5 million now?
Something like that,
I would
yeah.
say like close to 7 or something like
Yeah.
that.
So a lot of money gets
Because
Babe Ruth gets sold for.
27,000 was 500,000.
Yeah.
And 100,000.
You quadruple it, so it has to be somewhere upwards around like 2 million, 2.5, something like that.
Maybe 5 might be a stretch.
Ah, well. So he goes to the Yankees, and in the 20s he wins 4 World Series with the Yankees. Yankees start becoming the Yankees that we know of.
Guessing around like what?
Not a fan of them either.
3 million?
Oh no, I'm not a fan of the
I'll guess
Yankees now.
2.3 million.
Yeah.
That's still a lot.
You guys are still on this money thing?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I got really hyperfixated on it, and I was just like, I need to
They
understand
got
this.
hyperfixated in the money.
Hyperfixated. I don't think that's not.
So now fully converted to power hitting position player, on their roster, and another 22 before the close of the 20th century. The Red Sox plunged into a decades-long abyss of frustration, even eerie finishes.
Wow.
And we're gonna take a short little break, and then we're gonna go into the despair of the Red Sox. We'll be right back.
Oh gosh.
Hey everybody, I'm JC3.
And I'm Mr. West.
And this episode is brought to you by Dubby. Made by professionals in the USA, Dubby was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash.
No jitters.
Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, including the patented neurofactor. You know what Dubby doesn't give you?
What is that?
No calories,
No calories.
no sugars,
No sugar.
no fillers,
No fillers.
and no artificial flavors. When the raw ingredients arrive to their FDA-registered and inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP guidelines, they undergo a quarantine while a small sample of each ingredient is taken to test for any impurities, while also being tested to ensure that the ingredients are actually what they are supposed to be and have the proper dosage.
And once the ingredients pass all the tests, then they're cleared to get mixed into the formula. So head on over to w.gg and use our offer code IsThisRealPC for 10% off your first order. That's DUBBY.GG and use the code IsThisRealPC for 10% off. They have great flavors such as Galaxy Grenade, Dub Sludge, Passion Joy Tea, Monkey Madness, and Dragonade. My personal favorites.
Dragonade right here. I got Dragonade right here. Delicious.
Drink Dubby.
And be better.
These products are not intended to diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hello, this is JC3 speaking. If you want to know more about Is This Real Podcast and our parent company Green Hour Media, then visit greenhourmedia.org. You can find and follow all of our social media pages through our website. If you love our content, then you can support us by subscribing to our YouTube channel and our Patreon page. Remember, that is greenhourmedia.org.
Welcome back, as we're talking about the curse of Bambino, a.k.a. the curse of Babe Ruth on the Boston Red Sox.
The light skin.
Can you stop it with that?
No.
Why? He's not a light skin.
Yes, he was.
No, he isn't.
Permission to smack him?
No.
Yes.
Do it. Do the elbow I showed you.
Wait. Smack me after you hear all the evidence. And then if you still decide that I'm wrong,
I think you need to get a shock collar for the motherfucker myself. But
We
anyway,
should give him a shock collar.
kinky.
Ooh, that would
All right.
that would be hilarious.
Okay, so do you want to say yours first? Who
Well,
coined the
Dad
curse?
had asked me. Dad had asked
And
who
Dad had asked-
coined the phrase "the curse of the Bambino." Well, that's by Dan Shaughnessy. In 1990, he wrote a book called "The Curse of the Bambino." So, for 80 years, we didn't have a name for this. We just knew that
They were cursed.
they were cursed. And then you have this guy writes a book in 1990, Dan Shaughnessy, "The Curse of the Bambino," and that's what everyone knows it now as.
And this was
So-
in '89, you said?
So that was 1990.
90.
So you're talking 82 years after he gets traded, and they haven't. Well, sorry, 82 years, right? Or 72 years? 72 years. Sorry. They haven't won anything for 72 years. And this guy writes a book called "The Curse of the Bambino." It blows up. So I still say that we can call it the curse of the Joe Namath curse, and that's all we can call it.
Shut
Because the Jets will not win a Super
up.
Bowl in my lifetime.
My God, shut up. No, we're not talking about the Jets.
bullshit.
All right? This is about the Red Sox. Anyhow,
Babe Ruth.
you ready to hear this? Okay. So, as I was saying, in the 84 seasons after Babe Ruth, the Red Sox reached the World Series just 4 times: 1946, 1967, 1975, and 1986. Losing each of the one in the 7th and final game. So they brought so there's 7 games if you guys don't know how the baseball World
No,
Series works out.
I understand how I understand how the baseball World Series works.
Yeah.
At least like how.
You understand it too, Sethal?
Yeah, I understand.
So for anybody who's out there
there,
that's listening to us, Baseball World Series, there's 7 games. It's best out of 7. So if you win 4 games,
You win.
You win. You win the series. You win the World Series. You win whatever.
You're the champion.
Yeah.
You
So
are
again, but
the
if it's tied after 6, 3 wins, they go to a game 7. And all 4 of the World Series since Babe Ruth was bought by the Yankees, they lost all 4 in game 7s in
Oof,
mysterious ways.
No, not mysterious. It's pretty obvious how they lost.
No,
They
mysterious. There's mysterious ways. And
All right, okay.
when a ball, I'll get to the. These are the reported curse results of
Reported.
this. Okay, so in 1946, the Red Sox appeared in the first World Series since the sale of Babe Ruth and were favored to beat the St. Louis Cardinals. The series went to a 7th game at Sportsman Park in St. Louis. In the bottom of the 8th inning, the score was tied at 3-3. The Cardinals had Eno Slater on first base and Harry Walker at the plate. On a hit and run, Walker hit a double to very short left field. Slaughter ran through the third base coach's stop sign and beat Boston shortstop Johnny Pesky's relay. What?
Not that word.
Oh, okay.
We're fucking around over here.
Relay throw to home plate. Some say Pesky hesitated on the throw, allowing Slaughter to score, but Pesky also denied the charge. Film footage is inclusive, except that it shows Pesky is in bright sunlight and Slaughter in shadow.
It's inconclusive.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I just better that. Boston star Ted Williams, playing with an injury, was largely ineffective at bat in his only World Series. I believe that injury was the injury that I believe cost him his career, was the one that he took a baseball to the face.
I think so.
I think
That would end anyone's career.
Yeah. So he was playing with a broken face.
imagine 80 miles an hour projectile coming straight at your face.
In
That's gonna.
In
fuck you up.
1948, the Red Sox finished the World Series. The Red Sox finished the regular season tied for first place, only to lose the pennant to the Cleveland Indians in Major League's first ever one-game playoff.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a one-game playoff they finished tied, and they had one game to settle who's going to win it. The Cleveland Indians at the time, don't want to offend anybody. But the Cleveland Indians at that time won the pennant by beating them in that one-game playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you offend anybody calling them the Cleveland Indians?
Yeah, that's my good, because right now they're the Cleveland.
They are the Cleveland Guardians.
Oh, the Guardians, yes.
But
we
I mean,
have to change
historically
this because
speaking, they were the Indians.
everybody's offended by people even
Yes.
walking across the street.
I
get it.
In 1949, the Red Sox needed to win just one of the last two games of the season to win the pennant, but both of those games, both of those losses came to the Yankees, who won a record 5 consecutive World Series titles from 1949 to 1953.
Wasn't that the golden age of the Yankees though, with DiMaggio and
I think DiMaggio was later 50s.
That would have been one of the golden ages.
Yeah.
See, with the Yankees, there's several different ages.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
That's
like with
true.
the Canadians, from 55 to 60, they won 5 cups.
Yeah.
And then from 73 to 78, they won 4 cups. So it's kind of like, like the one guy said that anytime these teams that go on these runs, the only way you're going to get the title out of there is to steal it. That's the only way, and that's what they do. So there's many golden ages the Yankees had.
Yeah, that's
I
true,
mean, you
that's
got to look
true.
at the late '90s too. When they had
with
Derek
Derek
Jeter
Jeter.
and that team was fucking. Anybody they plugged in on that team was just amazing.
Yep. So in so we're already at 3 instances.
well, the Mets are gonna be like that this year. We have a $1 billion outfield.
Not yet.
In 1967, the Red Sox surprisingly
Created a sign.
reversed the awful results of the 66 season by winning the American League pennant on the last weekend of the season. In the World Series, they once again faced the Cardinals, and just as they did in 1946. The series went to a 7th game. St. Louis won the deciding contest 7-2, behind their best pitcher, Bob Gibson. Bob Gibson defeated Boston ace Jim Longborg, who was pitching on short rest and was ineffective. Gibson even hit a home run against Longborg in the game. So
That was early '60s, wasn't it?
1967.
So the
So-
better pitcher won.
And the better pitcher won the game and hit a home run. When you hear a pitcher hit a home run, that's crazy.
Yeah, because pitchers don't usually hit home runs.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys, they're so confused right now, and I love it.
Just
You know what
just-
we need to
yes.
do?
If you're not a
Just-
sports
yes.
fan, it's hard to.
You
Yes,
know what we need to
yes.
do, though? You will understand, not completely understand, but you'll understand how much I love the sport, and we love the sport when you actually go to a baseball game.
Hold on. I'll
No,
translate. I'll translate.
yeah, baseball games are fun.
They threw the ball, and the man who throws the ball isn't usually good when he has to go at the plate and hit the ball with a stick, because he's usually good at one of the two things. You're either a good stick swinger or you're a good ball thrower, and it's very rare when those two are the same thing.
Well, the reason for that is because.
They focus more on pitching than
Well,
they do
not only that,
hitting.
the reason for why a pitcher's never really hit because they don't play as much as the regular fielders do.
Yeah, they play once
And
every
once every
fifth day.
5 days, and then at that you're in for a couple innings. You might get up two times. So it's really not,
Okay, 1972, the Red Sox ended the season with a 3-game series against the Detroit Tigers, over whom they held a half-game lead in the American League East. Detroit won 2 of the 3 games to capture the division title by a half game. Due to the player strike at the beginning of the season and the decision of Commissioner Bowie Kuhn
Bowie Kuhn.
not to reschedule any strike-canceled games, the Tigers ended up playing and winning one more game than the Red Sox, finishing with an 86-70 record to Boston's 85-70 record.
That's
So,
a dick
okay,
move.
Okay, so all this is amazing. I'm just thinking to myself, where's the cursey part about this?
because they keep on getting screwed.
I'll give you
Hold
another
on.
one.
Wait, no. This is there's a couple more instances before yours.
Yeah, I would like it. You know what?
The reason they say this is part of curse, because think about it. It's you know what a strike is. What happens in NFL or MLB, right?
A strike? Like you just stop playing?
Yeah. So in that season, at the beginning of the season, they had a short strike, in which it affected, I think, 10 to 15 games in that season. So they decided not to play those strike games and just start the season wherever the schedule started. So the Detroit Tigers had one more game that they played that put them over the Red Sox in winning the pennant.
It wasn't fair, essentially.
So the Tigers won one more game because they played one more game, and the Red Sox didn't play the same amount of games.
Yeah.
All due to the timing of
All-
Exactly.
yeah. So that they consider that part of the curse because it was an unfair thing against the Red Sox, and that the Red Sox schedule was messed up. They're just adding it to it.
And this is
Bunch
the
of
fourth
whiny
time
cunts.
that something crazy is happening.
Fifth.
Right?
This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is number
Fifth,
5
This is the fifth one.
Out of 10.
out of 10.
So the ones
10
prior
majors.
to them were just like, I guess they were
So-
they just lost due to the sportsman.
So the first
competition
one,
part of
little
it?
things
hold on,
like
okay, so like 1946, it was too close to call, and the tie goes and it goes to the runner, right? So that's what happened because
what basically
Hold on a second, hold on
it
a
wasn't that. It was he went to go throw in the outfield,
Yeah.
and they say that he hesitated.
Yeah,
before
exactly.
He threw.
Well, still,
which allowed the one guy to
score. Right, but my point
Because
is
of
the
the
tie goes to the runner.
Yeah.
So tie goes to the runner in the first one. The second one, they lost. They lost the playoff game.
Yeah, and the
Third
first
one,
but because it's the Red Sox and because they're saying is
Right.
it was the first ever one-game playoff, and because it was the first ever one-game playoff, it's unfair because it wasn't a series.
Well, let me ask you guys this: did anybody ever hear him say, "I cursed the Red Sox"?
That's mostly where I was gonna.
Anyone
allude
just
to.
sit down
Yeah,
and
I mean-
think that maybe they just suck?
Well, I'll give you a little.
I'll agree with that, but look, there's a couple more incidences.
It's a
I
it's a
love
sport.
it.
It's
It's a little
sport.
bit more
It's
than
competition.
sucking. But
Like,
yeah, it is.
Let's just put it like this: there's a couple more incidents, and there's one particular that really stands out. That they think that they were cursed. All right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
in 1975, the Red Sox won the pennant and met the.
what incident was this, by the way? The one that this one is
This
75
1975.
World
This is number
Series.
6.
number 6. Okay, and
So
this is
19
the one that solidified that they might have.
No.
been
Okay,
Okay, not that one.
In 1975, the Red Sox won the pennant against the dynastic Cincinnati Reds in the World Series. The Red Sox won Game 6 on a walk-off home run by Carlton Fisk, setting the stage for the deciding Game 7. Boston took a quick 3-0 lead in that game, but the Reds tied the game in the top of the 9th inning. The last inning, they tied the game in the top of the 9th inning. The Reds brought in the go-ahead run on a Joe Morgan single that sent Ken Griffey Sr. winning what is regarded as the greatest World Series ever played.
I'm going to sit here and
Like-
tell you
like-
it was. I watched that whole World Series. Now I'm not a fan of either team, but
I hate the
because
Cincinnati Reds.
Cincinnati, the Big Red Machine, Joe Morgan, the team was.
Was that the
fucked.
same team that they had Pete Rose on too?
Pete Rose on it. That team was stacked. Okay, so Boston gave them everything that they could have had, and Boston, like you said, went up 3-0 in Game 7, and we're all sitting around going, "Oh wow, this is going to be amazing." After a World Series
In the
that
top,
good,
in the top of the 9th, Cincinnati came back and scored 3
and all of a sudden, there they find themselves, within here they are, they're right here, and then all of a sudden, boom! For some strange reason, they let the lead slip away, or they lost the game, or whatever, and to that fuels the fire into this supposed curse.
Well,
Here's-
the
and it
morale
gets
went
back-
down. The morale goes down after seeing something like that, especially
Well,
when you had the
here's-
lead.
here's
and it's
another
the
one.
last game of the series.
Here's another one that happened in 78. Listen to this in 78. So in 1978, the Red Sox held a 14-game lead over the New York Yankees on July 18th. The Yankees subsequently caught fire, eventually tying Boston atop the standings on September 10th after sweeping a 4-game series at Fenway Park, an event known as the Red Sox fans as the Boston Massacre. 6 days later, the Yankees held a 3.5-game lead over the Red Sox, but the Red Sox won 12 of the next 14 to overcome that deficit to force another one-game playoff on October 7th, October 2nd at Fenway Park. The memorable moment of the game came when light-hitting Yankee shortstop Bucky Dent cracked a 3-run home run in the
Over the
7th
wall.
inning
Never forget
that hit
that.
the top of the left field wall, which was the Green Monster, and skipped out of the park, giving the New York a 3-2 lead. The Yankees held on to win that playoff game 5-4, eventually winning the World Series that year.
Dang, so he smacked the ball literally out of the
From
park.
a guy who didn't hit a home run that season.
At all.
At all.
Yeah, see, these are everything that you're hearing here is oddity. It's very strange.
So here's the thing: when it comes to it, nobody cursed the bit. No one. When the Bambino got traded, or rather sold, because the brother got sold. When he was sold, he never turned around and fuck the Red Sox. He didn't do that. This is just a series of incidents that happened over a long time, and everyone's looking at the Red Sox going, "Jesus Christ, these pricks can't catch a break." And
So the
like I
fans
said, it
cursed
wasn't
them.
until it's just what happened.
Here's the
in
defining.
the 80 years or whatever.
Here's the defining moment.
Hold on a second, and then you have this guy Dan Shaughnessy writes a book. He went, "This all started when he got traded." So it's the Bambino's fault. It's the curse of the Bambino. Had he not been traded, had the money that was used for the trade wasn't used to promote a fucking Broadway musical, maybe the Red Sox would be the dominant MLB force. But that's not what happened.
Well, here comes the defining moment of this. In 1986, in Game 6 of the 1986 World Series,
I'm erect already.
against the New York Mets,
Boing.
Boston, who at the time was leading the series 3-2, took a 5-3 lead in the top of the 10th inning. Now, they went to extra innings. This is the top of the 10th.
No, yeah, I understand that. Like,
Yep.
the game was tied. They had to go into whenever the
Red
game
Red
ends.
Sox reliever. Who was the reliever, Dad?
Um,
I'll give his first. Calvin.
Calvin Schiraldi.
Calvin Schiraldi retired the first 2 batters in the inning.
And you know what the kicker is? He was an ex-Met. He's traded to the Red Sox earlier that year.
So he retired the first. So you need 3 outs, and so you're
Yes,
retired 2.
we-
In rapid fashion, too. It's like 3 pitches, you had 2 outs.
Yeah.
And as a Met fan, I want to take it from here.
Okay.
As a Met fan, we're sitting there and we're going. Now the Mets just had a year for the ages where they literally beat the shit out of everybody,
Yeah,
and I mean it. They had
The
fist
New York
fights.
Mets finished that season with
Unbelievable.
108 wins.
They were going to win the World Series hands down. Here comes Boston out of nowhere, and now Boston, you got 2 outs. Now you're in the bottom of the 10th. All they need is 1 more out, and you lose the World Series in 6 games, which is like, as a Met fan, you're saying all this work for nothing. After the first 2 outs, then you had Gary Carter hit a base hit, just a base hit, innocent little base hit, right? Then after Gary Carter, Ray Knight came up, hit another base hit. Then after that, it was I'm sorry, the left fielder, Kevin
Kevin Reynolds.
You got it.
not Kevin Reynolds. I forgot the name. The left fielder. He gets base hit, drives a run, and now you're at 3. Now you're at
5-4.
5-4.
Mookie Wilson.
Okay.
Mookie Wilson drove
Mookie.
him.
No. He's not talking about that hit.
Now,
Oh, sorry.
now there's a man on third base. Okay.
Right.
And there's a man on second base. The Mets are down by 1. All Boston's got to do is give 1 out. That's it. The game's over. They win the World Series. Well, Mookie Wilson, there was a pass ball. In other words, the ball got past the catcher, and the guy from third scores. Now we got a tie game. And all you got to do is get 1 fucking out. Now, in the mysterious things that is this whole curse-like shit, now the game is tied.
Yep. It is
And
now
here's the
5-5.
kicker from everything. Okay. Mookie Wilson takes slaps the ball, innocent little ball that this guy, Bill Buckner, the first baseman, catches 10 out of 10 times. It goes on the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ball goes on the ground, jumps under his glove,
And it gets by Buckner.
gets by Buckner. Mets win the game. Now, Bill Buckner was never the same after that. And I as a Met fan, we're glad it happened because the Mets the next day the Mets were actually losing 3-0
Yeah.
the next day.
So here's the
And won the game the next day too.
So in
Okay.
the 7th game, which is again another 7 game World Series. Now this is their 4th World Series that they're in since losing Babe Ruth. All 4 of those World Series went to 7 games. The last game they could play in those games. So in the 7th game, the Red Sox took an early 3-0 lead,
Kevin Mitchell, by the way, is
only to lose 8-5. The collapse of the last 2 games prompted the New York Times columnist George Vexy to write articles describing the Red Sox as cursed. and then later this guy, Anthony's whoever is said, went to
Dan Shaughnessy.
Dan Shaughnessy went to name the curse. So that pinnacle moment, and you hear the call all the time, especially if you're watching baseball stuff. You'll hear that call all the time by the guy. He just died. Wasn't it Vin Scully who did the call, Dad?
Vin Scully in '86 did the call of the Bill Buckner era.
It gets by Buckner. It is ingrained in any baseball fan.
It's it's one of those moments in sports. Now I know you're not a big sports fan, but these things, the only thing I can think of akin to that would be the one that they called in '62. I can't remember what it was, but the other one was a hockey analogy of 1980 when we won the gold medal. And do you believe in miracles? Al Michaels, the guy does something. Do you believe in miracles when the U.S. beat? They didn't beat Russia. They beat Russia early in the round, but they went on to win the gold at Lake Placid, and no one thought we could do it.
Let me just put it like this: it gets by Buckner call, in my opinion, is the equivalent in sports to one great step for man, another great step for humanity.
Which was fucked up, by the way, but we'll go there later.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That is how
the thing
it has a very impactful.
The thing that I can kind of equate it to in modern day was when Eli threw the ball in the Super Bowl and he caught it on his helmet.
David Tyree.
Yeah, and everyone was like, "It's incomplete," and they're like, "Wait a minute!
Yeah,
holy shit! It caught it first down."
The funny part about this is that there's still 2 more incidences on this list.
Wow.
So in 1988 to 1990, and in 1990, the Red Sox advanced to American League Championship Series, only to suffer 4-game sweeps both times at the hands of the Oakland Athletics. They were also swept by the Cleveland Indians in 1995 in the division series in 3 games, because at that point there was only 3 games, extending their postseason losing streak to a major league record 13 games. They lost 13 consecutive postseason games.
Yeah, let me get in there just to put it in perspective. What you got, like when you have these curses over so many years, you have different teams. These are not the same. Obviously, they're not,
No, yeah, I know that they rotate. It's
right.
like,
So in 1955, those guys are nowhere near what happened in '86. But somehow this string of incidents keeps going on, and that fuels stuff like this. That fuels the fire. And to be honest with you, I mean, it makes you think. It makes me think, because what are these poor bastards going to do to win a goddamn?
Well, and just think about this also. Ready?
Just like the Jets.
Shut up.
Yeah, I lost to the Dolphins tonight too.
They lost again to the Cleveland Indians in 1998, 3-1 in the division series, and again to the Yankees in 1999, 4-1 in the American League Championship Series.
Right.
So they can't beat the Yankees to save their lives.
They helped.
Yep.
Until
in 2003, the Red Sox were playing the Yankees in Game 7 of the American League Championship Series. The Boston Red Sox held a 5-2 lead in the 8th inning, and manager Grady Little opted to stay with the starting pitcher Pedro Martinez and to go to the bullpen. New York rallied against the tied Martinez, scoring 3 runs in the top of on a single and 3 doubles to tie the game. In the bottom of the 11th, Aaron Boone launched a solo home run against knuckleballing Boston starter Tim Wakefield to win the game and the pennant for the Yankees. So in 2003 is when it ended, because in 2004...
Now listen to this.
In 2004, the Red Sox once again met the Yankees in the American League Championship Series. The Red Sox lost the first 3 games, including losing Game 3 at Fenway Park to a lopsided score of 19-8.
Bam!
They lost 19-8 in a baseball game.
Bam!
That's a lot of runs. At that time, I believe that was the most runs scored in a playoff game.
I would imagine that's not the most ever scored.
No, the most runs ever scored was by the Texas Rangers, I believe, in 2012, and they scored 32.
Bam!
Just a sidetrack on that game.
Wait.
They didn't have any more pitchers to play, like in the 8th inning.
32. What was the other score?
32-6, I think it was.
Oh my God! There's
So-
no mercy or nothing.
No. So by the 8th inning, the Texas Rangers, they didn't. But I forgot who they played. But the team that the Red Sox, the Rangers were playing at that point, didn't have any more pitchers.
Imagine how you're like in the 6th inning or 5th inning and you're down by 30. You're down by 28 runs. What does the manager really say to these players?
So think about
Come
it.
on, guys, we're only down by 18. Let's go.
They have no.
Give me 3 more games. We can catch up.
They have no more pitchers that they can use, and I believe they're down to the last position player to use as a pitcher. They started sending ball boys out to pitch.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yo, that's mad disrespectful.
So
that's so disrespectful. Leave it to a Texan to leave it like that.
Yep. So they lost
Disrespect
19
the
to 8
fuck outta
in
you
Game
like
3 of the
that. Shout out
2000
to Texas, bro.
in the
Shout out to Texas.
2004 American League Championship Series. The Red Sox trailed 4-3 in the bottom of the 9th inning of Game 4. Now this is at Fenway Park.
Yeah.
But the team tied the game with a walk by Kevin Miller and a stolen base by pitch runner Dave Roberts, followed by an RBI single against Yankees closer Mariano Rivera by third baseman Bill Mueller, and won the game on a 2-run home run in the 12th inning by David Ortiz. The Red Sox won the next 3 games to become the first and only MLB team to win a 7-game postseason series after losing the first 3 games. The Red Sox then faced the St. Louis Cardinals, the team who they had lost to in 46 and 67, and led throughout the series, winning a 4-game sweep. Cardinals shortstop Edgar Renteria, holy shit, that brings me back to when I was a child, who wore the same number as Babe Ruth, was the final out of the series on a ground ball back to the pitcher Kevin Folk.
Wait, they didn't retire Babe Ruth's number?
No, this was the Cardinals. He
So-
was just wearing Babe Ruth's number.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the
number
guy
3.
who was the final out that finally broke the curse and let the fucking Red Sox win was wearing the same number as the man who they believe is the foundation of the curse.
Okay. That's kind of cute in its own way.
Right? So they're saying that this curse...
It's kind of cute.
It's
It's kind of
adorable.
cute in its own way, you know,
This
romantic
curse-
and shit.
Cuter than a
Yes.
dick.
So this curse was
What?
broken.
Hey, yo,
So that's
to
gonna
the
mean for
fullest
me-
extent for that one.
In the long run, that's going to mean for me that the next Jet quarterback has to wear number 12, so this way he can toss the winning touchdown in the Super Bowl and break this
Watch
motherfucking curse.
Watch this. No Jet quarterback can wear the number 12 because
It's
they
retired.
retired.
Motherfucker.
That was the most Italian I've ever heard him ever.
Motherfucker. That's the end of that. That's the end of that. Good night,
I have
folks.
a bottle.
Jets will suck forever.
I have a bottle of wine at home that was corked, like the Jets the promo thing a couple
That
years
wine
ago.
sucked.
Yeah.
Look at what's named after.
I'm gonna. It's still closed. It got the wax seal on it. I'm gonna open it when the Jets win a Super Bowl. So that will never be uncorked.
You
By the
better
time
Well,
you open
well,
it,
let's
that
let-
wine is going to be fantastic.
You
I
might
was
have
gonna
to talk
say
to
it is
Cat-
gonna age
Beautifully.
amazing.
You would have to talk to Caden and see if his great grandchildren will be around to fucking open it up, because that's the only time these cocksuckers are
me.
gonna win. Fucking
So,
pieces of garbage.
That,
What is-
in all
It's gonna
instances,
be-
is the open and close case for the Babe Ruth curse because they didn't win a series for
I mean, it's
68 and well,
almost
80
80,
years.
80 over 80 years.
Yeah.
They didn't win a World Series for almost 80 years.
fuck man. I mean,
But-
by the time the Jets win again.
Okay, so we're gonna take a short little break because this has been a little long segment, and then we'll be back to finish this episode
The
off.
Jets still will suck.
We'll ask everybody around if they believe that this was a curse.
And I want to talk about Babe Ruth being a light-skinned brother.
Shut up.
I
We'll be right back.
If you liked this video today, please click the like and subscribe button and make sure to hit the notification icon to keep up with all our videos.
Welcome back to ADHD in a podcast. Come on, ADHD in a podcast. Getting this. Come on.
I'm here.
Okay. As we bring this episode to a close on another curse that it could be a curse. And look, for all the weird shit that I've seen and I've heard, if you listen to Red Sox fans, they really do think they're cursed.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you, Joe. Listen to a Red Sox fan whine is kind of my highlight. You know, it's kind of like putting the Boston Bruins up there and watching their fans whine when something doesn't go their way.
And speaking of, I don't. First of all, I don't say the Jets are cursed. They say the Jets are cursed. I don't.
Oh, the Jets aren't cursed. They just suck.
Okay, I don't say the Jets are cursed.
The owner's a moron.
The Red Sox aren't cursed. They just suck.
You're optimistic.
The owner's a
I'm
moron.
not even optimistic that they're cursed. I know my team sucks. because they have bad things. There's nothing
bad things.
mysteriously.
They have an owner that doesn't can't
Okay,
even
hold
chew
on.
his
Wait.
fucking gum and walk.
But that's my thing. With this Red Sox stuff, there's been a lot of things mysteriously happen
yeah.
that you could sit there. Okay, I can see how it could be cursed. What mysterious things has happened to the Jets?
Well, I
Well, mysterious things. Hold on a minute. You want me to go there? Okay. All right. Let's take one off the top. Geno Smith. He was touted to be the fucking next guy who's going to come in. He's going to do this. He said he mouthed off to the wrong guy. Got a busted jaw out for 6 weeks. That never happens.
And we had a fantastic season.
Okay. Now, how about this one? The other guy with the lily white motherfucker that they drafted? What the hell's his name? Chad Pennington. The guy's like the third game of the season. He trips over the fucking line and breaks his
Well, I
fucking
mean, that happened to
ankle.
Vinny Testaverde also, but it's not.
Testaverde was a contact injury. The Jets get these
Jets-
season-ending injuries, and they're not.
Dad, you have to
Come
understand.
on.
The Jets do the opposite. They start curses. We're responsible for Brady. Let's not forget this.
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah. There you go. And fucking, he takes a beautiful shot takes the quarterback the fuck out. They bring Brady in. Next thing you know, 10 Super Bowls later, he's the greatest guy. He's banging Giselle. This is crazy. This is fucking crazy. So the Jets work on shit that fucking hurts themselves and the rest of the league. So we should take the Jets and ship them out to Cucamonga with the rest of the motherfuckers and get rid of them.
No, I'm not saying that. God, it's going to be hard not to say that. Anthony, shut up. So, no, I don't think the Jets are cursed. Do I think the Red Sox were cursed?
No.
I don't know.
I think Babe Ruth was the first black player
Jesus
in Major
fucking
League
Christ.
Baseball. Do you want to hear my evidence?
No.
No.
Well, I'm going to tell it to you anyway. Ty Cobb.
Why are you so loud?
Ty Cobb.
And his brother Cornanda.
No. Eric. Hey, Wes, you're going to want to hear this.
I'm sorry. I'll be very honest with you. You're going to have a really tough time beating what I just saw and just put together right now.
I have no idea what's happening.
Exactly.
Well, that's the problem. They should be focused on the podcast.
So there was a sports writer named Fred Lieb. And Fred had an interesting story about Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb. Cobb and Ruth were supposed to go on a hunting trip, and Cobb said no. Cobb said, I would never bed down with a and I'm not going to start now. He called Babe Ruth the N-word. This is 1920. So that was So he called him the N-word in 1920. Okay? Babe Ruth was also called an N-word and other racial slurs by a Giants player named Johnny Rawlings at the 1922 World Series. And when Ruth took a baseball bat to him, they didn't get to him, but he tried to. There was a biographer named Robert Creamer, and Ruth asked the journalist, do not write anything about this. He goes, I don't mind being called a cocksucker or a prick, but don't call me any of that personal stuff. Why would he take racial slurs as a personal stuff? Babe Ruth was notorious for being at the Cotton Club in Harlem. He dated black women. I think that Babe Ruth was a light-skinned black man. After the Yankees won the 27 World Series, he befriended Satchel Paige and sat down in dugouts mingling when, back then when everything was segregated. He didn't give a fuck. That pissed off the commissioner, Kensaw Mountain Landis, who didn't want that to happen.
No, do you know what? Do you honestly want to know why they sat there and they called him those names?
Why?
Because anybody who sat there and had an affinity or whatever whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Affiliation?
Affiliations with African American players or anything like that at that point, they called those names. Not because they were, but because they were with.
I don't know about that. When he was
Dude,
raised,
I've seen photos
was-
of black. I've seen photos of black and white, and Babe Ruth is a white man.
He was born
Babe
from
Ruth-
German parents.
Yes, that's true. But during his stay at the St. Mary's School for Boys, he was called N-word lips a lot because he had very broad lips and a nose. So he's been called that his whole life.
Okay, this means nothing.
All I'm saying
Does
is...
it have anything to do with his curse?
Well, I don't know if it has anything to do with this curse. I just think...
Why,
it's-
wait, hold on. You're trying to say that they were cursed because he was a black man?
No, I'm not saying it was cursed because a black
You're
man was
racist.
racist.
Damn.
What I'm saying is that we
Dishonor
want
on
to talk
your
about this
cow.
conspiracy about this Boston
What?
team that just sucked for 80 years, when the
Dishonor
true
on your
conspiracy is that Babe Ruth was the first black man in MLB history.
No.
No disrespect to Jackie.
He wasn't. In fact, Jackie Robinson wasn't the first black man in MLB history.
Huh?
Jackie Robinson was not the first black man in MLB history.
Who was it?
I forgot his name.
You're
Let me
gonna
just
have
look
to.
up.
You're gonna have to
Because it says
seriously
Jackie
look-
Robinson.
I thought that was something that you had engraved as your like. No, it's just like
Hold on.
dead air.
It's not dead air. Okay, he was a man who loved to do things. He empathized with the Negro League. He
Yes,
empathized.
because that's what it sounds like to be a compassionate human being.
Well, you're right, but you're absolutely right. I'm not going to deny that. But this is at a time where that was pretty
That
much.
sounds like
on
being
hold.
a compassionate human being.
Yeah, I understand that. But like, this is at a time when like that was the norm.
Yeah,
Like it was
to be-
weird
yeah.
to be compassionate.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't fit the norm.
So
Is there something wrong with not fitting norm?
no.
All I'm saying is that it's a lovely, humorous theory.
I don't
But
think it's
I'm-
humorous at all.
I think it's pretty humorous.
Of
Because
course. I
Babe
need,
Ruth
I
is
need
a
this
white man.
fucking thing.
Well, anyway, let's get on with it because that's not part of the curse. Come on.
Okay. I did. Anywho.
We can at least say this: he is the first black baseball player, the same way Bill Clinton was the first black president.
No! No! Jesus
I like to
Christ!
think Bill Clinton, my rabbi.
Bill Clinton was a black man.
Anywho.
Did you guys see that clip?
No. So, Dad, we'll start
I'm
with
gonna
you.
speak for Roadblock and say that I don't want to be here anymore.
Do you think
I hate it here.
that...
No, you don't. Does he say I hate it
well,
here?
I mean, he's not here anymore anyway, so he got what he wanted. Do you think that Babe Ruth, the curse of Bambino is true? Or was true?
I'm gonna say I don't. I'm gonna say I don't believe there was a curse, but I'm gonna say that it might have been something that was ingrained in. Nah, I can't even say that either. I'm gonna say I don't believe there was a curse.
You don't believe in curses, do you?
No, I do believe in curse. Obviously, I do, but I don't believe this was a curse because if it was, we really didn't touch on who might have gave the curse, who did the curse. There was nobody that said Babe Ruth did it.
There's
so
no
we don't know.
origins to it.
Right? There's no origin to it. So it came out of a book that was written in the 97 or whatever.
That's just
it
the
is.
title. It just so happens this team sucked for 90 years.
Did a lot of weird shit happen that you can sit there and go, yeah, maybe? Yeah, it did. There was a lot of weird shit that went on. Curse-wise, I think that maybe it's like kind of like a Jet fan when something negative happens, the whole world comes to an end.
You would know.
You know too.
No, the whole world doesn't come crashing for me.
Salud.
I know what my team is, and I know how my team can progress.
Bless you.
Salud.
Preemptively.
Thank you, and thank you.
Anywho, so
So that's a no from him, dog.
that's a no.
That's a no for me.
Cito?
The curse of Bambino, aka, I just need an excuse to figure out why my team sucked for so long.
Okay.
Let's be honest, it's a mixture of we suck, we got bad luck. One time it was unfair.
When you say bad luck, can't you just consider a curse bad luck?
No,
Why?
there's no
curse
such thing
brings
as
you-
luck.
There's no such thing as luck.
Luck is probability, and probability does not exist.
No. Probability and luck are two different
Here
things.
we go with the college.
If you want to,
Well, no.
consider them two different things, then how would you separate them?
Luck is the idea that things are going to go right or wrong for you.
A good probability of
regardless
something happening.
of outcome. Probability comes down to math. Like,
no,
yes,
if in actuality, if you want to consider luck anything, luck is just a good or higher chance of probability actually happening and going in your way.
but hold on a second.
That's the
But
definition of good luck. Bad luck is a complete opposite definition.
I don't know if
So
I'm enjoying
luck
this or
in
not.
general is just the definition of probability of something going on.
Okay,
it's
there's a
no-
whole.
in your
Okay,
favor.
okay.
No,
I'm
no.
gonna stop this right here
because
because.
the chances are still there.
Hold on, wait, time out. I'm gonna stop this right here because I don't no idea what the fuck's going on. So you say no, right?
No.
No. Wes.
Nay.
Nay. Anthony.
the Red Sox suck.
No.
That's a no.
Fucking curse.
Okay. I say yes.
All
I'll be
right.
the only one that's on that side
You
of the
want to be
fence.
you want to be that guy.
Because of all the shit that happened. Like, again, if you know your team sucks, and I know the Jets suck. I'm not going to sit there and that they're cursed.
That's a podcast to itself.
I'm not going to sit there and say that the Jets are cursed. No, I'm not going to do that. All right, we're going to have another one towards the end of this season. The curse of 1940 with the New York Rangers. That you consider a curse or not? There's not a lot of things that happened in that. But again, we'll sit there and we'll talk about it there.
That's not even close to this curse.
There's a lot of shit that has happened with the Red Sox over the 86 years that they said, 86 years that this motherfucking owner turned around and sold. They didn't even get money for it. The Red Sox organization didn't get money. They didn't get players. The owner got money to finance a Broadway play. That was in New York.
That's not fair either because a lot of the owners did the same thing.
They didn't sell their biggest players.
No, a lot of them couldn't pay him anymore, Joe. They wanted astronomical fees, and they figured
that's fine.
Goodbye.
They still. That's fine. You could sit
They
there
weren't
and
cursed.
say, but it's not even that. The teams at that point and the owners, if they couldn't sell or they couldn't pay their players, they were selling them to other teams and getting stuff in return for the progression of that team. When you say I'm selling my best player to produce a Broadway play that has nothing to do with the team, and then that team goes on to win 4 World Series in the next 10 years.
I understand what you're saying, but it does
with
happen.
that player.
Okay, look at the guy who owned the Pittsburgh Pirates. He never improved the fucking team.
He still doesn't. That team sucks worse than the Jets do.
That organization is worse, and any money they get, they put into everything else but the team.
That's possible.
So
yes, that is possible.
anyway, who's up next?
Nobody. I mean, what are we doing next week? All I'm saying is I'm on that thing. I think they're cursed, and then it is glorified by the Buckner play.
Okay, I can't argue with you on that because I've seen it.
Even though Babe Ruth, I believe, was dead at that point in '86.
Oh yeah, he died in '47.
Yeah. Babe Ruth was dead at that point, and you're 40, almost 60 years past it. But that is because they had that World Series down but one. You know what I mean?
It's actually down to one strike.
Exactly. Like, the Mets fans were sitting there like, no, we're fucking cursed.
Well, we knew with the game.
Yeah.
We're sitting there going, this game is over. We couldn't believe it. We're looking around the room like, this is not going to happen. And then when it did happen, the elation, was just through the roof.
Which is why the '86 World Series, again, is one of the top 10 World Series of all time because of that play.
Yeah, but nothing's as good as the 75 World Series, in my opinion.
But what do we have next week?
Next week is the curse of the little bastard, the car that James Dean was driving.
James Dean, the actor.
Yes.
Yes. No.
No, I know that he had what was it? Was it a Mustang or an Aston Martin? Or something?
No, it was a Porsche Spider.
I've never
How old
saw
is he?
one of those cars.
James Dean?
Yeah.
He was
He's
27.
dead.
90% of these curses I haven't even heard of.
No, I know that.
90% of these curses you haven't heard of?
How old was he when he died?
Jesus, you have to get out of your room. No,
I need to go
there's
touch
a
grass,
lot.
right?
Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry.
He was
Let me go
24
look
years
at
old.
the losing teams that the Jets.
First of all, it has nothing to do with the teams.
Hold
all
on,
right?
can I laugh real quick? I typed in James Dean. Comes with the porno actor.
Asshole.
I think he's blacklisted.
Yeah, probably.
He
Can
was
we
a
not-
little too
no,
rough and
that's
quiet. You be an adult.
He's got 2 charges against him.
Yeah.
He'll end up in jail like Ron Jeremy.
Yeah, he was
Ron
too.
Jeremy is actually getting off of jail.
He's
by the
too
way.
rough in
When
some
did
of
this
his
happen?
scenes.
Well, because he apparently has too much dementia that they're not going to let him serve out his sentence. They're just going to let him die at home.
Well, he didn't even go to trial yet.
Oh,
The trial
whatever.
was pushed back because of it, but then now if he's got too much,
I don't
to go
think
to
he.
trial-
No, it's like he's been declared incompetent to stand trial, but I don't think they're going to release him.
Well, they have to then because he was charged. But if
If
they're
you're
not,
going to stand incompetent, how did we
yeah,
get
if
here?
they're not going to stand, if you're incompetent,
Next week's episode.
if you're incompetent to
All
stand
right, so
trial,
next
then
next
you
week
go
we're
to trial.
talking about James Dean and the curse of Little Bastard,
That was such a
or
genuine moment,
AKA my nephew.
How did we get you?
No.
ADHD
Um,
podcast, bro.
Oh wow,
my
he
God.
suffers
Yeah,
from
I
quiet.
don't-
He's suffering from severe dementia, and there is no evidence he's faking his symptoms. So the hedgehog
So
is not
he's
there
dying.
anymore.
The hedgehog thinks he's a
A hedgehog.
giraffe.
I just got a problem with the whole situation, but that's a podcast.
Yeah.
for
Okay.
another
So next week, like I said, we're talking about the curse of the Little Bastard. By the way, guys, just to end on a good note, we have 2 Patreon subscribers now.
Yay!
You know, so we have 2 Patreon subscribers. One of the girls who bought sweaters, she sent me a picture. She has her sweater and she's wearing her sweater. So we have merch out there. We have Patreon subscribers. We have more people buying our Patreon now. And the TikTok lives help. So if you want to see us Sunday nights around 10 o'clock, we're going to be on live. Come talk to us on our TikTok page. So everyone, say goodnight.
Oyatsumi minasan.
Adios.
Adios. We'll catch you guys next week. Remember, everybody.
I love y'all.
Question
I love y'all.
everything.
I love y'all.
Good night, guys.
I love you.
Konnichiwa, bitches. It's Ryu West speaking. If you want to find out more about the Is This Real podcast, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/isthisrealpc, or on Twitter at isthisrealpc, or on Instagram at isthisrealpodcast, all one word.